G'day photographers, it's Ben from Wodonga TAFE. How you going? And I want to give you a little bit of a run through of an adventure I went on with an old dear friend and epic mentor of mine called Grant Wells. You can see him there coming into frame. I got to hang with him when he went out on a newspaper editorial photography shoot where we got to illustrate a story where a snooker player was travelling from Tasmania to compete in a huge tournament in Egypt. The brief was, we're meeting the bloke at home and you need to make him look suave and awesome and get this picture back page worthy. Grant's a master at this. He can take a photo from this, which is a quick test shot we did at the scene, to this, which is the finished work, which just looks pretty cool. Here's where we're working. Just everyday garage. There's the sports reporter there, sitting in the background. And there's Grant hiding under the pool table, getting to work. Here's a little video of our lighting setup. You know, we've got a pool table. There's Grant there. We've got a light on a stand here, which is sort of the key light, which is looking after, pointed towards the talent, which I'm drawing in there. That light up in the corner there is sort of the hair light, which is going to wash a bit on the wall and a little bit on the back of the subject, just for some separation. And then the light over on the far side, furthest away from where I'm talking now, is sort of just a gentle fill to give detail to the shadows and all that kind of stuff. Grant first shot way back at the back of the pool table there with his 70-200 lens, and then later on he walked up with his wide lens and sort of lay a bit on the table to get a really cool shot. Have a read here. The shot Grant had in his head was he wanted the balls to be moving, yet the subject to be still. And, you know, that's how we went about it. It was tricky, but fun. Here's a shot of Grant attacking with his 70-200 lens at the back while the reporter finishes off his notes. That sort of compresses the focal length and compresses all the action into a nice bite-sized thing, as you can see in this test shot of moi. And then here's the other shot Grant did later on the wide angle. And note what happens to the foreground and the background. It's still a really clean wall with minimal distractions, but yeah, you see what's going on there, and that's a change with the focal length. Here's a bit of video of Grant in action.
The flash is frozen too much on me.
Do you have like a pyramid somewhere?
Yeah, I got it obviously. Yeah, I hate to think how many times you've done that.
The thing that's cool to watch out for this is how Grant problem solves on the fly, and just his demeanour with the subject. It's pretty cool to watch.
Slowing things down a bit.
So your parents don't go? You just go by yourself?
Dad's unsure about anymore.
Okay.
But yeah.
So one of the struggles Grant's facing here is that he wants his shutter speed to be nice and low to give the movement in the balls as much chance to register on the camera. The issue is if he goes too slow, he's going to induce camera shake, and the subject, which is the snooker player, is not going to be sharp. The fact that flash is hitting the snooker player is going to help freeze a bit of action, which is helpful, but Grant's got to be careful that not too much of that flash spills under the table, because otherwise there's not going to be a lot of movement. Now the camera's around my neck, and the reporter and I, Cam, throwing the balls at
Okay.
each other to try and get as much movement and action going in there as possible. That reflector that's folded up and scrunched there isn't actually sort of providing any
Otherwise, it was going to be bloody perfect.
fill or anything, but it's just there to protect Grant a bit from the balls, which are quite hard, flying around in an unpredictable manner.
Perfect ball set up, but then I shook as I took the photo.
That's alright.
We got this. We got this.
Take time with it. You're right.
Okay. Ready, set, go. Haven't got that spread that we got the first time. We'll do it again, guys.
Take
733.
So then at this point, I put the camera down just to give Grant a really good throw, which has sort of, Cam and I really went for it, and that's sort of resulted in a couple of balls going up in the air. You can see the red one, and yeah. But eventually, with perseverance, we got the frame we were after. And if I can just talk about that for a minute, what's happening is the flash is freezing everything in place, but at the start of the exposure, so shutter button goes down, flash goes off, and then there's a bit of time where the shutter is open. Your shutter speed's at like a 10th or a 13th of a second. So while the shutter's open and the balls are moving around, that's what's creating those motion lines, yeah? It would have been really nice to be able to shoot this with rear curtain sync, and the difference between front curtain sync and rear curtain sync is that when the flash goes off in the exposure. So if you squeeze the trigger button on front curtain sync, the flash goes off, and then the shutter stays open until the exposure time is reached, and then the shutter closes. But with rear curtain sync, if you squeeze the trigger, the shutter opens and light comes in, and then it's not till just before the end of the exposure and just before the shutter closes that the flash goes off. And that is something you can play around with getting stuff traveling or not. Alright, so now I've just gone and talked about that. I'm going to show you how it ended up in the newspaper. There it is, there's the inside one. And there's the back page. Cool, if you want to check out Grant, hit the links below, and thanks for watching.